one person's like, just the knowledge I gained at that table that I was sitting at alone was worth 5 times the price of the admission to the VIP. Hello and welcome to Pillars of Wealth Creation, where we talk about creating financial success with a special focus on business and real estate. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. Now, let's get to it. Hello and welcome back to Pillars of Wealth Creation. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. With me, as always, on these Wednesdays, we got Matt Jones. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing, Todd?
I'm doing excellent, man. We had a whirlwind of the last couple days, but probably a couple weeks, really. I've been super busy with properties. We did a big investor dinner, so that was amazing. I've got deals coming, and then we have this big conference that we hosted that was thrown in there. So we got all these things kind of thrown in there and this big conference. And so it's been a whirlwind, but it's been a lot of fun. But yeah, that's my crazy world right now.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, we just got done with the conference, and actually, we'll talk about that today. But you're busy leading up to the conference, busy during the conference, and then the key thing is to keep it going after the conference with all the follow up with everybody you meet. And there's just so much value to be had. So we're going to talk about the value that you can get out of live conferences and what to do to make the most out of it.
Yeah, it was it was a lot of fun. And then after the day after the conference, so I've got my coaching program, Matt, and so the day after that on Saturday we went and got together, and you were there, and so we got together and hung out, and did some breakfast. We shot some sporting clay, so that was a lot of fun,
Mm-hmm.
and just really had some good conversation. So that was good as well. But man, it was a relief. Like when I woke up on Sunday, I was like, oh, this feels so good for it to all be over, but at the same time, it was a blast. So,
Yeah, I mean, it was great getting some sleep again, following that up. But so what were some of your key takeaways from the conference, would you say?
yeah, I mean, there's obviously takeaways on the business side because we're running the conference. So just looking at, things we can do better, things we did well, how can we add more value to people? So when I look at, that, first of all, I would say big, big win would be just, man, we're able to do it live again. And there's nothing that can replace a live conference, in my opinion. You get people together, you get to actually feel their energy. I mean, it's so cool when you can feel that energy coming from the speakers on stage, and just that interaction that you get. That the panels are so much better because everybody's sitting down together, they're talking to it's more of a conversation, it's just free flowing. When you're doing these Zooms, it's hard to understand sometimes when somebody's done talking, or you get two people that kind of talk and everybody stops, and it's just a little more I guess awkward because you can't read body language as well. And so there's all that, of course, then just that face-to-face like interaction with people and getting to shake people's hands and getting to be able to see them. There's nothing that can replace that. So that was really awesome to me to be back in person. I think it's just invaluable to me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the networking alone, I think, which is the real value you get from those in-person conferences. The networking on an online conference is just you do what you can with what you got, but it's nowhere near the quality that you're going to have in person, shaking people's hands, looking them in the face, and really getting to know them.
Yeah, right. And no, virtual is not bad, right? But
Mm.
and you have to look at, okay, well, with the virtual, I can take advantage of the conference in maybe different ways, and so there are certainly some benefits of virtual. My preferred way, and I think the best way is that live, yet real connection, that real interaction. When I look at my investors and I look at my investor database and who actually invests in my deals, I do have people that invest in my deals that I meet virtually and I never talk, or sorry, shouldn't say never talk to. I talk to them, right? But I never actually meet them face to face. So I certainly have those people in there. But when I look at who my large portion of my actual investors are, if I actually met them face to face, and those are a lot more committed investors. They're vested with me on every single deal. And certainly it's a larger portion that I've met at least one time face to face. So same goes with just people you meet at a conference. You're going to have overall better connections at a live conference than you are a virtual conference. But you got to take advantage of what you have. So yeah, virtual conferences certainly you can have good results too.
Yep. I've been to some in-person conferences where it's just like one person at the front just droning on for hours and hours. One thing I really liked about our conference is that we really switched it up. So we had individual speakers that really talked about mindset and really motivating. But then, like you said, we had the panels where it's really more down to earth. You could, lots of audience questions, really involved, and then a ton of networking as well that we really directed so people got the most out of it. So it was like the best of all worlds all at the same time.
I think one of the things that we talked about too at their mastermind group after is that the networking was directed. When the conference started off, I talked about the importance of networking and connecting with people, and then Matt, you followed right up after that and went through for 10 minutes talking about the importance of networking, talking about some of the strategies behind networking, what can we do to be effective, and really warmed people up. So between the 2 minutes that I talked about it and the 10 minutes that you talked about it, we really warmed people up to that networking. And so that way, when that first networking break came, people were already ready. And when that first networking break came, we had some icebreaker topics to talk about as well. And so we mentioned, hey, this is what you can cover on the first networking break. And so people are ready. And so every time we had a networking break, there was icebreaker topics to talk about. And so it's easy to have a conversation. If you don't have something you want to talk to somebody about, it's already pre-scripted for you. You can say exactly what the questions were. And that really, I think, helps everybody out, but it especially helps those who are a little bit introverted to take that leap and go and talk to people instead of kind of holding back and sitting in the corner a little bit.
Yep. And the most amazing networking tip that I learned at the conference from our friend Luis is when you find somebody that you meet that you and you want to follow up with, to take a selfie with them, and then you either text that selfie to them or email it or Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever. Say, hey, thanks, Steve. I really like meeting you with you and talking about whatever you talked about. Let's connect again soon, and then you make sure they know your name as well, because then it's easier for you to remember their name and what you talked about, and then for same vice versa. Then you've already got their contact information in your phone that you just look up later and follow up. It's so easy.
Yeah, I thought that was actually really good because
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, you take a selfie. So how many people do you meet? You don't remember.
Yeah.
I kind of remember that guy, but I don't remember that guy.
Mhm.
And then connecting on LinkedIn's great, Facebook's great, but at the same time, it's how many connections do you have? How many LinkedIn and Facebook? I have so many, and it's like you usually don't even hear from most of those people because somehow they don't the algorithm doesn't match you up, and you never see one of their posts. And so you never hear from 'em again. But yeah, that little like selfie, it's like, oh, I remember meeting that person. So I think that's a really cool way to do it for sure. Um, yeah, met lots of great people, and for the conference can be a blast of a drink from a fire hose, right? There's so
Mhm.
many topics and all that, but for me, if you can just make one connection, then you're setting yourself up for success with that conference. If you can take one piece of advice and take action on that one piece of advice, you're setting yourself up for success. It's all about doing that one thing and doing it well. And I think too many people at conferences get caught up in all the stuff that they try to do it all, and they do nothing. And so we get jacked up with the conference. We're really pumped. It was a great event, all that kind of stuff. But what happens after? We don't do anything. So I tried to preach that too to people. It's about actually taking some of what you've learned and really taking action on it, shifting your paradigm and pushing forward. Otherwise, again, you paid money to go to a conference. Maybe you had a good time, but did you just pay for entertainment, or did you actually pay for education, and did you pay to move yourself forward?
Yep, exactly. I like that, because if you even take just one piece of advice and really focus on it, it's going to make you so much more money than whatever the conference cost anyway. So it's a large net gain. Whereas if you try to do everything, then you're going to get so distracted. I mean, at the conference we talked about, hotel conversions, multifamily syndication. I mean, just uh, all
Senior
sorts of
assisted living,
exactly. Yeah, there's so many
mobile
things. If you
homes, I mean, everything,
if you try to do
industrial.
them all, you're going to do it all terribly. But it's
Yeah.
better to just focus on one and be the best at that.
Yeah, for sure. I thought it was interesting talking to some people that joined us on the VIP and how many people and we didn't do anything too crazy special. We had a VIP dinner. They got to spend extra time basically with us and with the speakers. But the feedback was that was 100% worth the VIP and the price of
Mhm.
admission to the VIP, just to sit down with a small group and really dive in. And the knowledge that, I mean, I can't remember who told me that, but several people said they really loved the VIP. But one person's like, just the knowledge I gained at that table that I was sitting at alone was worth 5 times the price of the admission to the VIP. So I thought that was really interesting, that value. But that's the power of that real connection. They sat down. It was a table of 8 or 10 maybe people, and you got to really dive into a lot of topics. You got to talk to a lot of great people, and it's powerful, right? It could really change the direction that you're going. It can really propel you in, farther into the direction you're already headed. And so, that VIP experience, although it costs a little bit more money, um, definitely can be worth it if you're to that point. If you're just beginning, maybe the VIP doesn't make sense. But if you're at a point where you're ready to grow and expand, that could make a lot of sense, and did make a lot of sense for people.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about, relationship, or real estate is a relationship game. So you need to have relationships with the right people. And the VIP gives you access to be able to build better connections with the people who are making deals and know what the heck they're doing. So you want as much connection with those people as possible. And the VIP gives you that connection. So, places or conferences that have like really expensive VIPs, that means it's going to screen out a lot of the, other people. And so if you pay for VIP for those conferences, you're getting even better people in a smaller knit setting
Yep.
to get better connections there.
Yep. Yep. Um, Man, for me, one of the things, so this conference is, I do it for a couple reasons, Matt, and one is because I just enjoy it. I genuinely enjoy it. Maybe not the planning as much, but I genuinely enjoy the conference. I genuinely enjoy bringing people together. I genuinely enjoy providing amazing education to people. So that's probably that, not probably, that is the biggest reason I do it. But another reason I do it is more of a selfish reason, and that is to gain investors in my business. I want people to know, like, and trust me. And if I have a conference, they come to it, they learn from it, they get to know me a little bit. When I'm up on stage, I'm typically, I giving, I guess, a little bit of a way of who the type of person I am. Um, And then so with the investors, and then same thing with my coaching, right? Is to gain a little bit of coaching, a few coaching clients. And I don't take a lot, but at the same time, it provides that opportunity. Somebody wants to continue to learn from me, there's that option. But with the conference, I haven't really gone out and advertised about it. This year I did more because my wife came to the conference. She prepared some stuff. We had a table and, had some flyers and stuff like that. But at the same time, I wasn't up on stage. I didn't, it wasn't up on stage selling my coaching. I wasn't up on stage trying to sell my business to get investors. But and I don't know exactly what the right mix is because I don't want it to be a pitch fest. That's something I really pride myself in, is that this conference is not a pitch fest. But one person said to me that you really should have pitched your coaching a lot more. I guess the same thing could be said with the investing, because if people don't know about it, they don't know about the benefits of it, they don't know how good it is, then they're missing out on an opportunity. You might have people that need that want it, but don't know about it, and they can't invest in themselves because they just don't know it's even an option. Same thing with the investing in my passive business. They don't know that that's even an option. They don't know what passive investing really looks like. So they don't talk to you about it. And then they miss out on that potential opportunity to make, double digit returns in a pretty short period of time. And, you know, and they just don't know it's even a possibility.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's sort of a balance. I've been to
It's a
conferences
balance. It's
that are just like straight up pitch, and you're like, oh man, like
I don't want to
there's
be here anymore.
exactly. I'm like, I can
Yeah.
watch infomercials at home. you know,
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the struggle I always have. Like, I don't, and I mentioned it, right? I think I mentioned it a couple times on stage, but it wasn't like hey, I got a special deal here for anybody, or hey, I'm signing people up. Because right now, like, I'm at the point now, so I do this mastermind group, and it's a group, literally a group. And I'm at the point where the first group, or this group that I've currently have, is pretty well into it and will be, ending in the spring, where I could start another group, and would like to start another group here, beginning of the year. So I could have really tried to push it and try to get people into the group, but it's that I've been to conferences, just like you just said. I've been to conferences where it has been a pitch fest and it just feels gross. And I don't want my conference to feel the same way. So, but at the same time, if somebody doesn't know about it, if you're offering a product that you feel is really valuable, how are people going to be able to explore that if they don't know about it? How are people going to be able to sign up for it if they have no clue it even exists? And so you do have to get it out there. You do have to push it, but you have to do it in the right way, I think. Um, and I probably didn't do a good enough job with it. I need to relook at, okay, how am I going to do this? How next year can I quote unquote pitch it without really pitching it, without being salesy, without people coming there feeling sold? Because that's not what the conference is all about. The conference is all about the content, the education, the connection, not about going to be sold. And I don't want anybody to be sold, quite frankly. I want somebody to invest in themselves, and that's why they're joining the mastermind program, not because they got sold.
Exactly. It's sharing opportunities and not selling, trying to close people on anything.
Hmm. Hmm. Um, man. So yeah, I mean, lots of good stuff. I think, the other thing I really learned through this whole process is that I am not the person to get this whole thing organized. And I've been learning that over the last, few years. And so surrounding myself with really good people is the only way this conference is going to happen, because I don't have time for it. And B, I don't have the desire to do all the processes, all the steps needed to actually make it a good conference. So I have to lean on people that want to be a part of it. And I've done that, but I need to continue to do a better and better job at doing that, and a better job at finding really good people to fill in all the spots that we need, all the holes that we have, to make it a better conference every single year. And that's what we need to look at, is how can we make this thing even better? It was good. Let's make it great. If it's great, let's make it amazing. And let's continue to improve where we're at. So,
Yeah. Who, not how. I mean, instead of asking yourself, how can I
yeah,
do all this stuff? Find who you can trust to be able to do it on your behalf.
yep, yep. What, anything else that you got from the conference, really enjoyed about it, or thought maybe it needs to be improved even?
I mean, I think it's just a great kick in the butt of knowing the
Yeah.
action steps I need to take, and realizing, like, yeah, yes, I can do this. Everybody who's speaking, they've already been in my same shoes. And so just going through it and like, okay, I can do this too.
Yeah, so I've got a couple conferences scheduled coming up, and that'll be at. And for me, just being extremely intentional about what I'm trying to get out of the conference, trying to connect with as many attendees beforehand. And that's one thing I really want to do at this next conference. We did not do this. There was no way for people to really connect prior to the conference. What I really want to do is have, maybe it's a Facebook group, maybe it's a Slack group. I don't know what it is exactly, but what I really want to do is have a place where people can connect prior to the conference. They know who's coming, they can connect with them, they get to know them, they can meet them for dinner, they can whatever they want to do. And so as I attend these other conferences, I'm going to look and see what other conferences are doing, because I want a real way to connect with people. What I really think would be amazing, and the problem with this is that people wait till the last minute to sign up. But what I think would be really amazing is to set up kind of mastermind groups based on interests that people have. So if people want to buy 100-unit apartment buildings, they can join this mastermind group of other people that are doing the same thing, um, and really get to know them and get to know people at the conference. So that way, when they go to the conference, they already have a ton of connections. They feel like they're part of something big.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, on our website, northstarunlimited.live, through the community section, you can send messages to,
You
other people
can,
that, yeah,
right? But it
but it's,
wasn't very well
yeah,
broadcasted, though, Matt. And so, yeah, maybe we just need to utilize that properly and really broadcast that better for people, so that they can connect, because I think that's the most valuable part, is that connection piece. And
mm,
so, yeah, as I look to these conferences coming up, it's how can I really, what am I going to really achieve and get out of these conferences? How can I set myself up for success at every conference? I think that's so important, is to really think about the goals that you have going into conference, and not just show up the day of. Because if you just show up the day of, you're already too late. You should have been thinking about it. He should have really had goals and objectives coming into to the conference, so you can get the most out of it.
yeah, exactly. And I do want to mention also, on our website, northstarunlimited.live, if you, on the main page, if you click on the speaker pictures, that'll send you to a link where, each speaker's, bio, and their contact information can be found as well.
Yeah, we got to update my bio. I think it's about 4 years
Yeah.
old. So
All right, we'll send it to you.
somebody's like, "Hey, I thought you were doing some other stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, I am." It's like, "Well, I read your bio, and it says you like this is what you're doing." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, it's kind of old. No big deal." But yeah. So, anyways, great. Great conference overall. Certainly some areas that we can improve on. I think even better directions on networking. I think we did a good job, but I think we can get better at that.
Mm,
Just more opportunities for people to connect, I think would be great. One of the things I was a little disappointed with is people didn't stick around after as much as I was hoping. So really just figuring, okay, how can we get people to really network after the event on Friday? By the time the conference was over, or shortly after, within half an hour, I feel like there was almost nobody left. And so how can we get that to grow? And so where there's, 40% or 50% of the people still left, still sticking around and doing something. So I think more or less having some options after for people to really connect with would be good. And maybe it's appointing some people to host more of a networking event after, more of a happy hour type thing after. And like, hey, you appoint a networking, you're going to be doing a networking, you do networking, and then people can join them. So
Yeah, that's fair. Cause I mean,
mini groups, mini masterminds, whatever you want to call them, but like mini groups after the conference is done each day.
I like that because it's the meeting after the meeting concept.
The meeting after the meeting.
You get great networking at an event, but if there's a meeting afterwards, a happy hour, dinner, whatever, that's where even better networking is going to be. And if there's like another thing after that, that's even better than the second one. So it's the meeting after the meeting you want to be at.
Yep. Well, cool, Matt. I don't have anything else. Do you?
No, that's it for today.
All right, man. Well, you have a fantastic rest of the day. Make every day Saturday.
Thanks. You too.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. I appreciate you being a loyal listener. I would love to have you go on to our Facebook page and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Go on to iTunes or wherever you listen and give us a rating and review. Don't forget to subscribe. But your rating and review just helps us push this out to more and more people and continue to grow our audience and hopefully positively affect a ton of people out there that really need this and want this. So the other thing I've got for you is a free ebook on my website. So go on to venturedproperties.com, and download our free ebook on real estate and on syndication. And I've got some data points in there, some really good stuff for you. So I'd love to have you take a look at that. It's free. I'm not expecting anything from it. And also, look, if you want some help in multifamily, want some help learning, growing, getting your business off the ground, I would love to talk to you about what it would look like to work with me potentially and see if that's a good fit. So you can go to coachwithdex.com and check that out, and we can definitely have a call. Thanks a lot for listening. You make it a fantastic rest of the day. I'll catch you on the next episode.